Good morning, everybody. This is your It's 11 a.m. notice. Go ahead and make your way to your seats, please. Hang on, I'm gonna do that again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Grayson Rosen. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm happy to be serving as your volunteer host this morning. Whether you're a longtime member or visiting for the first time, whether you're here in person or joining us via live stream, welcome to the Ethical Society of St. Louis. We're glad you're here. The Ethical Society of St. Louis is a humanist congregation where people come together to explore big questions, inspire ethical living, and work toward a more just and compassionate world. Each Sunday, we gather in community to reflect, connect, and renew our commitment to those shared values. Before we begin, please take a moment to silence your devices or switch them to Do Not Disturb or airplane mode so that we can stay present together. Thank you for being here today, for being part of this community of thought, care, and action. This morning, we're delighted to welcome Home Remedy, the musical duo of Cindy Minnis and Melinda Monroe. With rich alto harmonies, guitar, keyboard, percussion, and plenty of joy, Home Remedy brings both original songs and beloved favorites from the 60s, 70s, and beyond. Their music is a gift of connection and comfort, and we're grateful to have them sharing it with us today. Please join me in welcoming Home Remedy for their first selection, True Colors by Tom Kelly and Billy Steinberg.
You with those sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight, but all the darkness inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. Makes you crazy, you've taken all you can bear. Just call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid, let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I'm feeling good about my glasses choice, too. Each week, we read the Ethical Education for Youth core values as a way to bring us together and remind us of our shared commitments. Since Seek is on summer break, I will read the core values today. Every person is important and unique. Every person deserves to be treated fairly and kindly. I can learn from everyone. I am a part of this earth. I cherish it and all the life upon it. I learn from the world around me by using my senses, mind, and feelings. I am a member of the world community, which depends on the cooperation of all people for peace and justice. I can learn from the past to build for the future. I am free to question. I am free to choose what I believe. I accept responsibility for my choices and actions. And I strive to live my values. It is now time for opening words, a chance to hear directly from one of our fellow Ethical Society members. Each week, a member of our community shares something meaningful to them. Please join me in welcoming Cy Henningsen.
Hi, as Rachel said, my name is Cy Henningsen. I've been a member of the Society for about 12 years, and my pronouns are he, him. I can put it higher. Hang on a second. Okay, how about this? I'll walk away from that way. So, what do you guys think here? Is it still working or not? Is it good? Okay, now We probably want to do that during the summer, so it's not impact seek. We have to probably make some changes to the lighting. There might have to be some changes to the mechanical, the way the air flows. I think the air flows underneath the stage. I am not sure on that, but I see these slats here, so I think they might do that. What would we gain? Well, first we have a fully accessible stage. It's usable by those in wheelchairs, scooters, walkers, and canes. It is a little embarrassing in 2025 that our stage is not fully accessible. If we were to raise the floor so it was level, this space could then be flexible. It wouldn't have to be all fixed seating. We could have free seating in sections, and then you could rearrange the whole front area. Or if you wanted to have a larger theatrical performance, you could move as many chairs as you wanted to in the front so that you could then do a larger thing. I know this would be a big change, but in the 60 years that the Ethical Society has been in this building, we've made a lot of changes here. The kitchen has been renovated, the nursery school was added, the parking lot was expanded, the west wing was added, including adding the Hinky room, a second stair, and the elevator. TVs have been added to the Becker room and the Hinky room, and we've added AV in this room. We've added an accessible restroom over that way, and we've also converted the storage room into a meeting room. This is only an idea. There are other options we might want to consider, and I know we're juggling a lot right now, but I want to leave you with this. This room is very beautiful, and the acoustics are fantastic, but I don't think this room serves us as well as it might, and I think we should consider ways to make this space more accessible, adaptable, and usable by a wider range of people and activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai. Thanks for opening us to possibilities. If you're a member and you would like to share your own opening words in the future, we would love to include you. Please reach out to the platform speakers team at platformteam@ethicalstl.org, and we'll be happy to get you on the schedule. Please join me in welcoming Home Remedy back to the stage for their next selection, Pearls, by Melinda Monroe and Cindy Minnis.
So we were actually commissioned to write this next piece by Charis, the St. Louis Women's Chorus, and it was in honor of their 30th anniversary, and the anniversary symbol for the 30th is the pearl. And so this song is creatively named Pearls. Has a lot of meaning to us, and we'll see what it might mean to you.
We walk out to the water, we walk that beach alone, sand clinging to us can become a heavy stone. This gravel that we carry, the value it denies, and try to shake us and make us believe defeating lies. Who knows what it takes to be kind, not defined by the hatred in the world. Take out all the sand in our eyes that hides the beauty of our pearl. Take out all the sand in our eyes that hides the beauty of our pearl. The sharpness of the edges, the stinging barbs that leave a fabric of sadness
layer upon layer, protection from the fight. Pearls are made in darkness, yet glorious in light.
Like families born and chosen, love so rich and rare can help to shift us and gift us pearls that we can share. Who knows what it takes to be kind, not defined by the hatred in the world. Take out all the sand in our eyes that hides the beauty of a pearl. Take out all the sand in our eyes that hides the beauty of a pearl. The beauty of a pearl. The beauty of a pearl. The beauty of a pearl.
Thank you so much. Before our main address, we like to take a moment to still our minds, relax our bodies, and take some mindful deep breaths. Please join me for 1 minute of mindful breathing. Our speaker this morning is Dr. David Breeden, a poet, practical theologian, and longtime public intellectual whose work invites us to reflect deeply on the intersections of spirituality, aesthetics, and the human condition. David is the former senior minister of the First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, a historically humanist congregation. He holds an MFA from the Iowa Writers' Workshop, a Ph.D. from the Center for Writers at the University of Southern Mississippi, and an M.Div from Meadville Lombard Theological School. The author of dozens of books, ranging from poetry and fiction to philosophy and translation, David brings both intellectual depth and poetic sensibility to his reflections. We're honored to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. David Breeden.
So sorry to be nervous-making for the people looking for me. I had forgotten how far Wentzville is from here. I'm doing a recommitment ceremony for my daughter and son-in-law today in Wentzville, and so it was a great time to stop by and talk with you all, and I think thanks so much for inviting my wife Teresa and I here today. And again, sorry, I am retired now, so my relationship with time has changed, as a matter of fact. Lately, I've been reflecting on how easy it is to start out with the wrong premise about life, about freedom, about even why we gather like this on a Sunday morning. That's why I think it's important to pause occasionally, to step back and ask basic questions, philosophical questions even, such as, why is it that we are here? Now, I'm not going to get metaphysical about it. This is geographical. Why are we here in this place? And why are you caring for this building and taking care of it? And what does all of that mean for this community and the world, for that matter? So we need to pause occasionally, I think, and ask those big questions, such as, why is it that we're here? Now, again, it's easy to start with the wrong premise. I propose to you that why we meet here today is to ask again, as clearly as we can, what is important in our lives. Pause and reflect. What is important in your life, both personally and socially? We are here to participate in the marketplace of ideas, the free marketplace of ideas. Now, if you want to be scientific about it, I have to point that way. Okay. If you want to be scientific about it, we're here to stimulate your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is the center of executive control, including working memory, planning, decision-making, and the regulation of attention. It integrates information with goals and context, allowing for flexible and adaptive behavior. So that's one thing we're here for. We want to get that working a little bit so we can think in a little bit of flexibility. Now, one reason we're here also today is because we do religion that way, a little bit differently than do most of the other church buildings I passed from Wentzville this morning. The Taoist philosopher Zhuangzi, writing in ancient China, loved poking fun at the Confucianists. It was always the Taoists, the sort of hippies, and the Confucians, these very uptight, kind of people, very rule-oriented and all about respect and writings and all of this stuff. Now, the Taoists, they just loved mystery. They loved laughing. They loved just letting things be. As you know, Wu Wei is just letting it go is one of the top Taoist ideas. And so Zhuangzi talks about three friends. And one day they are talking, these three Taoists, and they say, can people live together and know nothing of life? Work together and produce nothing? Can people fly around in the air and forget to exist forever and ever? Some pretty big questions. The three looked at each other and burst out laughing. They had no explanation, and so they were better friends than before. Then one of the friends died. Confucius heard about this, and he sent a disciple to help chant the traditional funeral rites. But when the disciple arrived, he found the two remaining friends playing music and singing. Hey, Sung-Hu, where'd you go? You have gone where you really were all along. And we are here, damn it, we are here. Now, the Confucian was horrified at this behavior. Where have you ever seen that in any of the books on funerals? What is this behavior? And the two friends laughed and looked at each other. And one said, poor fellow, he doesn't know the new liturgy. Which, again, sums up, I think, what we're trying to do. We are trying to do a new liturgy. How do people do whatever this is that people do on Sunday morning? How can we do it better, more open, more community-oriented, and more loving? Because we gather here to share our values and our worldviews, and we also gather to laugh a little bit. And as the poet Yusef Komenskaya said, It's what we can risk. It's not what we know, it's what we can risk discovering. And again, that's what those Taoists were saying to each other those years ago, and it's what we say, I think, to each other today. What can we dare to know? What can we risk discovering? Because gatherings such as this are about crafting that new liturgy, not reusing the ancient traditions and the ancient dogmas, but creating a place of shared wonder and shared responsibility. I'm going to wear a little priesty thing later when I do my daughter's wedding vows, but we don't do that around here much, do we? Because it's not about being way up here on a stage. The sage on the stage is a dead way of doing things. And we need to find new ways to share in this marketplace of ideas. And St. Louis is on a big river, as we know, and it's a place where many, many traditions have met and new possibilities have been born over time. We are in a time of great change now, and it is more important than ever for us to try to reason together in that marketplace of ideas. So, why is it that we're here? It's a basic question, but it's a question we need to keep asking ourselves, because in humanist practice, we believe that human problems can be solved with human minds and hands. That's what we're here about. We can do something. I am an old Pentecostal from Southern Illinois, even though I'm a humanist from Minnesota now. And so I know what the Pentecostal folks talk about, and God's in charge of everything, right? We are just here in Satan's palace. That's not how we think here. Here we can do something to change the world. Now let's consider the Dutch philosopher Hugo Grotius. He was writing in the early 17th century, and he was looking out on a Europe that you've heard of, the 30 Years' War. Estimates of total death in that war are something between 6 and 8 million. Actually, more people starved than were killed in battles because they just kept burning each other's crops as they went back and forth across Europe, fighting between various Protestants and the Roman Catholics. So 6 to 8 million. In some German towns, 40% of the population died. Now, how do you create a peace treaty between warring factions that are fighting about God and what God wants? Well, Grotius had a breakthrough. He said, laws and treaties should be framed as if God does not exist. Let's see if we can get there. Et si Deus non daretur, as if God did not exist. And that's how he settled the Treaty of Westphalia that built peace into the 1870s. And that idea comes from a devout believer. Grotius was a Dutch Protestant. He believed in a God. He believed in a God that told him what to do. But what if we can get secular for just a minute at this table? What if we can talk as if God did not exist? Reason over rituals and traditions, shared human values and beliefs over all of these things that can keep us apart. That's the principle that ethical culture has been built on. That's one reason we are geographically here today, because from its founding, ethical culture has worked to keep civic life free from religious control. Not to erase religion. We don't care what you believe, just let us believe what we believe. We want everyone to have freedom of conscience. That's not a big ask, but yes, it is. And here in Missouri, where religious and political conversations often collude with Christianity, shall we say, it's why ethical culture must be here to remind people that reason can be something that we do. So why is it that we are here? One of the reasons is to ask the tough questions and to be brave enough to be out there asking them. Now, I know you've heard of the French aristocrat Alexis de Tocqueville, high school, and he's the guy that everyone quotes and no one ever reads. He wrote Democracy in America back in the 1830s. It's much discussed because here he was looking at this new country. He was a French aristocrat, and he was trying to figure out what can democracy do, and do we want to have that in France? And so he was trying to be very careful to think it through. How can we create this, if we can create this, and what would it mean? Now, he theorized that a lot of citizens would actually never care about democracy at all because it's just too much trouble. So he thought that a lot of people would simply be walking around saying, geez, I wish I didn't have to vote again, and that would be a substrata of people. Maybe so, right? Maybe so. It's something that we don't tend to think about. He also talked a little bit about this idea. It does not break wills, he says, of democracy, but it softens them, bends them, and directs them. It seldom forces action, but it constantly opposes your acting. Democracy is this mud that you have to walk in. I have to talk to all these people all the time to get their agreement. It prevents things from being born. Such a power reduces each nation to nothing more than a flock of timid and industrious animals, of which the government is the shepherd. Yes, the word sheeple had not been invented in 1830 when he wrote those lines, but I want you to look very closely at that particular quote. Such a power reduces each nation to nothing more than a flock of timid and industrial animals, of which the government is the shepherd. Isn't this what both sides in our political argument says to each other? Don't the conservatives say that's what government bureaucracy is doing to us? Isn't it what we liberals say, well, what is it that we think they're doing to us that makes us like that? We have lots of ideas. But isn't it interesting that from the founding of this country, we all have a similar idea? We don't want to be sheeple. We want freedom in this. So we all blame something different, but I want to hold on to that idea that I think is a kernel of truth, that all Americans somehow agree that this is important, not to do, right? Not to do. So, why are we here? We are here to discuss questions exactly like that one, right? Why do we all fear this out there? We're here to work on freedom. We're here to work on political freedom, social freedom, personal freedom, all the freedoms. Yet, like the concept of liberalism itself, the concept of freedom is a little bit cloudy, isn't it? What do we really mean by it when we see it on our pickup trucks? For some, freedom means getting to do what you want to do. It's consumer choice. Yay, I have 6 different kinds of this and that, and I have freedom to choose. That's a kind of freedom. For others, freedom means rights and protections under the law. A little more complicated. In the ethical culture tradition, freedom has a deeper meaning than choice, one that the German idealist philosophers like Immanuel Kant and Friedrich Schelling searched to find. And the founder of the ethical culture movement, Felix Adler, was a Kant scholar, and we always need to remember that. He was a Kant scholar, taught Kant, and also he was in Germany during the time when Friedrich Schelling was the biggest philosopher in the country, and so that become part of Schelling's ideas become very, very important to him. Now, Kant came up with a couple of things that Felix Adler really liked. Act only according to that maxim whereby you can, at the same time, will that it should become a universal law. Why did Felix Adler like that? Because God isn't telling you to do that. As a matter of fact, Kant says if you don't make that choice, if you do it because you're afraid, you ain't making the choice, right? You got to choose, and you got to choose for the right reason. And that's a baseline that Felix Adler talked about. Steal somebody's car, well, what if everybody does it? You know, lie, what if everybody does it? White lie, what if everybody does it? See, and you begin to think, having to think through these little things. Also, the second one gave birth to this thing that we talk about, dignity. And Kant said, act so that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in that of another, always at the same time as an end and never merely as a means. Now, think that through a few minutes. People are not tools. And we choose that willingly. People are not tools. They have inherent worth and dignity. They must be treated as ends in themselves. What do you want? What do you want? It's not what I want. What do you want? Friedrich Schelling considered freedom the basic humanist task. Freedom is not merely something you possess at birth, freeborn, right? It's something that you achieve through the process of living in the free marketplace of ideas. Freedom is a human task. Schelling widened the idea of freedom. Freedom isn't only a moral principle about choice, it is a fundamental part of reality. Now, you have to remember that this guy is coming 2 generations before Freud. But what he's saying here is, if you're not free, you can't even have an unconscious out of which you develop your freedom. You got to start free. And you have to be allowed to be free as a citizen of a nation, right? In the ethical culture context, moral growth is about purity. No, not so much about purity or perfection, maybe. It's about navigating real life, right? That's why we don't talk about purity. Real life is a little bit sweaty and greasy, isn't it? When we take a step back, we see a common thread through liberal thinking. Freedom is a process. It's never complete. You never get there. It's something you grow into. It's something you achieve together. That's where we differ from our conservative friends. We understand that freedom for everyone in this nation is hard work, obligation. Freedom is something we create as common citizens. That's central to ethical culture, and it's why we're here. Building ethical relationships, creating just communities, educating ourselves. It's not about making life just more pleasant. It's not about more consumer choices. It's about unfolding freedom for all citizens and all people of the world. We do not live separate from our nation or our world. We live within relationships, and we believe in responsible freedom. Freedom implies responsibility. That's the kind of freedom that is worthy of human dignity. And here in St. Louis, we have a good history of social activism on both sides of the Mississippi, as I mentioned. My dad was born in a 2-room sharecropper shack in southern Illinois. 6th grade education, could barely read. My mother was completely illiterate. But here I am, and you know why I'm here? Labor unions. My dad worked over in Granite City, and he was in the United Steelworkers. Well, it was the Boilermakers in those days, now the United Steelworkers. And I have an education and I have freedom because if you pay people fairly, they'll do the right thing. It's kind of amazing, and no one believes it, but we do, by golly, and that's why I'm here today. Unions it's not magic. It's not magic giving people freedom. It's about doing the responsible thing. So why the heck are we here now? What is the purpose of ethical culture? Felix Adler described an ethical culture society as a place where people meet to seek the highest. That's holy ground. For those of you experiencing ethical culture for the first time, I hope you see that we're not doing this thing exactly like everyone else does it. That's because we practice freedom here. For Adler, the purpose of ethical culture is not allegiance to a creed or any of traditions or doctrines, but collective striving toward ethical ideals through shared reflection and shared action. It's called the ethical manifold, and I'm sure you can do that in some study sometime. I love this quote, however. Doesn't every human being have the right to achieve dignity? I think so. Shouldn't we figure out what freedom means and make sure that every citizen actually has it and can use it? Adler put it like this: the task is never finished. The goal is never reached. But the endeavor, not the attainment, is the essential thing. That's why one of ethical culture's core insights is that ethics comes first. It comes before religion. We know religion is not ethical, right? Not in its basis. We are ethical because we are studying what ethics means. Religions do all kinds of social behavior things over there somewhere. That's why ethical culture has always supported secular government. Not because we're against religion, but because people find meaning and purpose in all kinds of ways. The Puritans used to tax people who stayed home on Sunday morning, right? We don't need laws based on theology. Why would we want them? If others do, hey, that's fine. Do it in your church. Go ahead. But how about acting etsi deus non daretur, as if God does not exist when we are passing laws? Imagine a state like that. Imagine a city like that. Imagine a country like that. By basing law on shared human values rather than on any single tradition, diverse communities can live together in mutual respect. We all want the same thing, don't we? Adler said, "The freedom I seek lies in your freedom." The freedom I seek lies in your freedom. So whether we're gathered around a memorial service, a protest, a circle of friends talking about big questions, what matters to us is how we live together with each other. And like the friends in Zhongzi's story, we may not have all the answers, but we're going to have some discussion and some fun. Through that shared work, we help shape not only ourselves, but the wider world towards something more just, more kind, and more free. And I hope I have somewhat excited your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex this morning. Whenever we meet together, it is holy ground. Thank you so much for being who you are.
Thank you so much. The Welcome team will now take up a collection to support the work of the Ethical Society. While many in our community give online or through their annual pledge, we want to offer special thanks to those who give through our weekly collection baskets. Every contribution of any size helps sustain our programs, our people, and our shared mission. If you'd like to give today, you can use the QR code on the screen behind me or place a donation in the baskets being passed around. You can also donate anytime at ethicalstl.org/donate. If you're visiting today and you're interested in learning more about us, we invite you to stop by the Visitors Connect table downstairs after platform. We would love to meet you. I have several announcements today. First, the Ethical Society is tabling at the Racial Equity Summit at UMSL, University of Missouri, St. Louis, this Friday. The event is hosted by Forward Through Ferguson and aims to convene hundreds of advocates in person and online to exchange ideas, insights, and perspectives on ways to transform the St. Louis region into a racially equitable place to live and thrive. If you are interested in helping to represent the Ethical Society at our table between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. this Friday, please connect with our Executive Director of Community Experience, Claire Alexander, via email or catch her at coffee hour downstairs after platform. In conjunction with the Good Deeds Kids Smart work session that took place on Tuesday, July 29th, for the next few weeks there will be a collection bin inside the west entrance where you may drop off any and all school supplies, like pencils and paper. The bin will remain available until it is full or until the space is needed for the next collection. Thank you. Hi everyone, it's August and Crystal White. Busy planning service Sunday. No, let me start over again. It's August, comma. Not a name. It's August already. And Crystal White is busy planning Service Sunday 2025. She has hopes of offering a kitchen or meal-based service option, but does not have an established nonprofit agency contact with an organization that is accepting prepared food. Do you have such a contact? If yes, please connect with Crystal White. Thank you for your assistance and partnership. P.S. Feel free to save the date. Service Sunday will be on October 26th this year. Don't miss the annual Ice Cream Social Chill Out. Dive into the whimsical, chilled world of ice cream, coupled with the social warmth of great conversation at the annual complimentary Ice Cream Social on August 17th after platform in the Becker Room. I'm looking forward to that. Next, I'm sharing an important appeal from our executive directors, Claire Alexander and Rachel Jones. As we move through a time of staff transition, we're encouraging volunteers to step in and support our youth education programs on Sunday mornings. Help us create a welcoming, enriching experience for children and teens from ages 0 to 18. You won't be doing this alone. Volunteers will be assisting our existing staff and lay leaders to help make our Sunday programming strong, sustainable, and safe during this interim period. Volunteer shifts are Sundays from 9:30 to 12:15, now through mid-September. You can sign up for one Sunday or more, and signing up early gives you the best chance to serve in the age group that feels like the right fit for you. Scan the QR code on the screen to sign up, or email youth@ethicalstl.org with any questions. Thank you for showing up for each other and for helping us care for the future of this community. And finally, for the announcements, I now invite Mary Ann Perkins up to read 2 announcements from the board.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mary Ann Perkins, and I'm the president of the board, and I am here to share 2 brief announcements. As some of you already know, last week, one of our members, Jim Rhodes, circulated a petition to call for a special membership meeting connected to his advocacy for an official statement on Israel and Gaza on behalf of the Ethical Society of St. Louis. 15 signatures are required and have already been received. The Board of Trustees would like all members to be aware of what special membership meetings are and are not. This is a time for the board to share information and take questions. We will not vote on any matter at that meeting. The board's process for adopting statements works through our monthly board meetings. Special membership meetings do not affect that process, and we have to give 30 days notice to everyone about when that will be scheduled. We're working with Jim and the ministry team to put that on the calendar, so please watch for an announcement about that in this week's Connection. And our second announcement is, some of you will remember that we did bagels with the board ahead of the annual meeting. We'd like to carry that forward. In 2 weeks, on the 17th, we invite you to banter with the board from 9 to 9:45 a.m. This will be a chance to talk about whatever's on our minds. You can bring your own beverage if you wish, since the Society's coffee service will not really begin until 9:45 when we conclude. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Also, I lied. That was not the last announcement. We have one more announcement from Sean.
I admittedly forgot to put the announcement in the sheet, so thanks for the improv, Grayson. My unethical thing. I'm a part of the Ethical Society Band, and I know this is long announcements now, so I'll get through this quickly. Do you enjoy hearing the Ethical Society Band play on Sunday mornings? Woo! Great. You'll love this announcement. On Saturday, August 23rd at 6 p.m., right here, the Ethical Society Band will be playing a concert to raise funds for AV equipment for the Ethical Society. We will be playing all of your favorite Humanist cover tunes. Attendance is free with a suggested donation of $15. If you cannot attend and still wish to support the fundraising for AV equipment, please use the QR code, not these, but the one at the end. Just mark it as Ethical Society Band for Rachel. That'll be good. Hopefully we'll see you there, and the more money we raise, the better equipment we can buy, so that's the goal. So thanks. Thanks.
If you would like to stay connected to the life of the Ethical Society, use the QR codes on the screen. One to sign up for our weekly email newsletter, and the other to explore ways to get involved. Our weekly newsletter features upcoming events, community news, and opportunities to participate. The second link leads to a list of ways to engage, including opportunities to collaborate with staff and lay leadership on operations or programming, as well as social groups for connecting around shared interests. These member-driven initiatives help us build a vibrant, welcoming community. We hope you'll find a way to get involved that feels meaningful to you. Please join me in welcoming Home Remedy back to the stage for their final selection, Home of the Brave by Melinda Monroe and Cindy Minnis.
This is a song that Melinda brought to us. She was, I think she was asked by the Elliott Chapel?
Elliott Unitarian Chapel in Kirkwood. This was inspired by Elliott Chapel's work on social justice and is our latest original tune.
Can we witness bravery and know it as our own? Can we see intrepid as a light that we've been shown? Can we walk in that brightness, leaning toward that sun, linking arms to find the strength of everyone? There is room in me, there is room in us, there is room in here to pave a new road to this home of the brave.
amplify. There is room in me, there is room in us, there is room in here to pave a new road to this home of the brave. Come closer to courage, look it in the eye, draw a breath and let it fuel and intensify our will, our conviction. Accompany a neighbor, stand beside a friend, walk along with a stranger, 'cause the road will twist and bend. Can we shoulder together? Are we strong enough to try to build a choir and let our voices amplify? There is room in me, there is room in us, there is room in here to pave a new road to this home of the brave. And the home of the brave.
Really the perfect complement to the message that that we humans solve human problems. And what do we think is the problem? Well, cruelty. And what are we going to do about it? Thank you. Thank you all for being here today, for showing up for yourselves and for one another. I hope today's platform provided insight, connection, or inspiration. After platform, we invite you to continue being in community with us. We have coffee and conversation in the large room downstairs. If you're new, just follow the crowd or use the elevator outside these doors. If today's platform sparked something for you and you'd like to talk about it more, visit our new Continue the Conversation table, also in the large room downstairs. It should be clearly marked with signage. Folks gathered there are open and ready to reflect on the topic together. However you choose to spend your time after platform, we're grateful to share this space with you. We invite you to head downstairs for a hot beverage and conversation. Please join us again next Sunday as we resume our annual Members Speak Month. I am the member speaking next week. Thanks. This is a helpful warm-up for the the bravery that I will need to do. I will be talking about what being trans has taught me about gender and sharing some thoughts on why I think that matters more than ever in these times. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great week.